Confession, I've never really been a gardener. But decades ago, I had a love affair with economics. Non sequitur? Yeah, okay. But if you bear with me, I think there's a real link between ecology and economics. About 30 years ago, I was an engineering student in Atlanta, except when I was an intern working just outside of Chicago, I wanted to be designing alternatively fueled automobiles. But instead, I had been placed in a good internship with a maker of two-way radios. I didn't really care about two-way radios and became disillusioned with corporate work and my course of study. I dropped out of university. Mid-semester, so for a month or so, I had a dorm room and a meal plan, but no occupation. Footloose and fancy-free, I did what any randy 19-year-old would do. I went and read an economics textbook each sunny morning in Piedmont Park. The Worldly Philosophers by Robert Heilbroner. Some call economics the dismal science, but I was fascinated to learn about Adam Smith's concept of the invisible hand of the free market, and curious about Thomas Malthus' principle of population, which observed that human populations grow exponentially while our food production only grows linearly, and so we inevitably have scarcity of food and therefore hunger and suffering. Okay, I guess that could be dismal. Later in my story, as a philosophy student in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, I enjoyed a semester-long seminar with a Sri Lankan geography professor who attributed his theory of socially constructed scarcity to his childhood observations of starving countrymen begging for food along a roadside fence, with papayas growing aplenty in plantations just on the other side of that fence. And I also studied ecological economics, which focused on pollution and externalities, that clean air and clean water and ecosystem services go unrepresented in the free market, and so these amazing gifts from nature are consistently undervalued and degraded. Okay, I can see the dismal thing now. But these theories also explain how we humans developed everything from bread and shoes to flying machines and skyscrapers. Economist Milton Friedman used to deliver a freshman lecture that no one person in the world can make a standard wooden pencil. Starting with natural materials, no one person knows how and has the tools to shape the wood. The graphite inside, the yellow paint on the outside, let alone the eraser and its convenient little metal mount. It takes an economic system and functioning markets for various goods and services to make this simple and ubiquitous cheap writing instrument. Just as in the world of ecology, natural selection doesn't require a cosmic designer to explain how species have come to be. Evolution explains it can be a natural process. So too, the invisible hand doesn't require a central planner to explain how goods and services have come to be. The free market is a social process. Despite these revelations, I am in awe of our nearby redwood forests, and I am in awe of our great cities like San Francisco. From this theoretical perspective, my awe is impersonal wonder, not unlike when I take a moment to stargaze and contemplate the vastness of the universe. And I enjoy the scientist's sense of wonder. When I stargaze, I don't wonder for a minute how I might change the position or the brightness of the stars. But with economics, it's different. I cannot maintain that indifferent theoretical distance. When yesterday, not for the first time, one of our Saturday breakfast guests pulled her cart to the curb and explained to me that she just can't keep living like this. There needs to be a way to get safe shelter and daily consistency. I find myself angry. Angry that we as a society aren't gardening for the good of the whole garden. Instead, we seem to be devoting all sunlight and water to one giant plant in the corner and a few of its favorite weeds who consume without contributing. even as billions of leaves of grass and cute little ground cover stop growing, lose their green, dry up, and shrivel. And it hurts all the more knowing the excitement that I experienced just over 20 years ago, reading the concepts of nutrient cycles and recycling and upcycling possible within an industrial metabolism, as put forth by architect William McDonough in his book, Cradle to Cradle. I sensed hope then, especially in some academic and government circles, that by understanding these concepts and applying our creative intelligence to the problems of ecological degradation, we could design products, services, and systems which would continue to provide for the needs of more people, and it would require meaningful, skilled, high-wage jobs for people to implement the new services and systems. And that we would do it without further degrading the ozone layer and without otherwise contributing to what we were then calling the greenhouse effect and global warming. So I'm angry. And I've learned here in our community organizing work that hot anger is not the most effective emotion for bringing social justice. I've learned here that cool anger is the right nutrient for justice. Don't bake the anger plant in full sun, but don't deny the emotion either. Temper it so we can think and organize and volunteer and act to reshape this garden, to bring more of the wealth of sunlight and nutrient back as wealth for the common people. And so I guess I will keep looking for opportunities to make a difference, and when the anger burns a little too hot, maybe I will also step back from time to time to take in that bigger picture from science and history and ecology and the stars. Because that science not only provides the knowledge we need for our engineering and our gardening, but it also diverges a certain wisdom and confidence in resilience. The processes of life and value exchange will continue. The garden won't heal quickly from the weeds and giant plant that are stealing the sunlight these days, but it will change over time. It won't come back exactly as it was before, or even as it might have become. But it is a process, and it'll come back regardless.